We're taking action for parents now with some information to keep families safe while enjoying time out on the water. This is critical because so many people here in the Bay Area own boats or have friends with boats. Tampa Bay Parenting Magazine editor Angela Ardolino is here now with some life-saving advice. Always good to see you.
You too.
You know, the first thing that we talk about, first and most important thing, is to make sure that you have a flotation device on that boat. But one of the big problems that a lot of people make is that they don't get the right size or even the right type.
Exactly. 70% of fatal boating accidents are caused by drowning, and 84% of those are because they didn't have a life jacket on. So a life jacket is the most important thing you could possibly do and put on your kids. And this is anything in the water, playing in the water, jumping off of things in the water, lakes, going on jet skis, being pulled, on a jet ski. So it's not just a boat, it's anytime we're around water. So it's very important. Not only do you have a life jacket that fits your child correctly, and the best way to do that is to make sure it fits them snug and that their head doesn't come out of it when they jump in the water. You can do it on land, they lift their hands up like a touchdown, and if it goes up over their chin or ears, it's probably too loose or too big for them. So you want to make sure, if your kids are going to be in the water, buy your own life jacket for them so that you know you've got the right one, and then teach them how to put it on and tell them why they're keeping it on. Kids always think, oh, nothing's going to happen to me, especially teenagers. And it's a simple bump on the head and they're in the water, and if they don't have that life jacket on, they could drown. And it's just an awful tragedy for something so simple that people don't do.
Your next piece of advice is to keep an eye on the kids. That may sound like a no-brainer, common sense, but the truth is it's easy to get distracted, especially if you're on the boat with a lot of friends.
It is.
You say have a watch plan.
Always. Put someone in charge. If you have to do it hour by hour, that one person is only watching the kids. And these kids could be responsible, but it's just as simple as one kid not having their life jacket off, jumping, diving into something too shallow or anything. So it's very important. I remember one time having a party at our house, and we live on a lake, and I remember we had one of those trampolines in the water, and a big gust of wind came, turned it over on top of 3 or 4 kids. And I mean, someone had to be watching, and we just all jumped in and pulled it off, and they were freaked out because it was on top of them. But it's those types of things, you never know what's going to happen here in Florida. So always make sure that someone's making sure they're watching them.
You got somebody watching, you can get that quick reaction and get in there and save somebody. Of course, when people are on the boat, they're having a good time, they may decide to let a teenager drive. What are the rules when it comes to who can drive boats?
Well, if they're under the age of 14, they're not allowed to operate a watercraft. And anyone born after January 1988 actually has to take a course so that they understand the boating laws, understand how to keep it safe, what they're responsible for, because if they have anyone on their boat or their watercraft, they have to supply life jackets to them. So all of that. But most important, if you're going to let your child or teach your child, you need to spend a lot of time with them, riding with them, so that they understand what to do, how to be defensive, understand that everyone else out there on that lake may not be looking out for them, and that they're responsible for other people if they're pulling them on, towing them, or anything like that. So those types of things are really important for kids to understand what a big responsibility is to be behind something like that.
Always good advice. I want you to have fun, but of course stay safe.
Stay safe.
Good to see you, Angela. She's going to be back with us next week. She'll talk about finding the right preschool for your kids. And if you missed any of those points that Angela mentioned and you want to share the information with another parent, just go to abcactionnews.com. You can also find help with a variety of parenting issues at tampabayparenting.com. And while you're there, you can sign up for a subscription to Tampa Bay Parenting Magazine.